Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here to tonight's tournament. It is the UMG Prime $2,000 4v4 search and destroy, of course, taking place here on February 2nd. It's myself, Lando Sanders, live here from the UMG studio to bring you guys the action for this evening. As hopping on board here in round number 4, we've got BeanSquad taking on NoTuck, as these guys are very primed and ready to get into tonight's matches. And, of course, starting on board here with the offensive team, currently being the BeanSquad. As we've been able to watch these guys play in a few search and destroy tournaments. I want to say it was actually a GodPaaR and Co. who ended up winning a tournament the other day. I want to say it was a 3v3 search and destroy. But so they are obviously very experienced when it comes down to this game mode, as a few kills beginning to take place. As the offensive team right now trying to make their way toward the B-bomb site, Shiftola ends up dropping through mid-cut, and now JBinkss finding himself in a 1v3. And being on defense, it's great to see the offensive team, of course, establishing quite a bit of control. And obviously getting and working to kind of get that objective down. And I noticed in our tournament that we ended up having yesterday, which was the $300 minimum 4v4 variant, a lot of the teams, when it kind of came down to London Docks, were just kind of struggling in general with offense, getting the bomb down. There was one team, actually, I think it was Vex, who was actually facing off against Blast Radius, and they're playing London Docks. They ended up getting 6-0'd. And it was just a matter where they really couldn't make a decision. Like, they didn't really know what to do. They were just kind of silenced, and they weren't really able to kind of pull off a whole lot. So when it comes to the London Docks, be very, very wary of the fact of offense, how important it can be. And just like that, noobs, a first blood spoiling the party, as actually no one from the side of NoTuck has actually been able to even grab the bomb to this point. Of course, realizing such Perfxrmal decides to go ahead and grab it. However, though, he could be seeked out shortly. Noobs with the sniper shot, up close and personal, fight, destroyed, totally catches him off guard. And just like that, Calhoun, a.k.a. Willie Calhoun, now left in a 1v4 scenario. As Dominance rounds off the start here for BeanSquad. They are not messing around, to say the least. They wanted to get into this match for a reason. And a nade like that definitely provides a little bit of a statement for those who aren't familiar with Calhoun Thuglord, a.k.a. Willie Calhoun, for those who are familiar with Major League Baseball, actually the left fielder for the Texas Rangers. Not even kidding. I know a lot of people were like, last time we ended up having him in a tournament, they were like, actually, is he really? And it's like, yeah, he really is. So obviously nice to see him playing in some Call of Duty World War II tournaments. Granted, his team is down, but still a very solid player. And we'll see if his team can obviously try to rebound back in NoTuck. But off the break, 2 players falling. Things not looking good whatsoever. As 3 for 3 in first bloods are BeanSquad currently, but trying to turn the tide around Perfxrmal. Now changing things back to a 2v2. Ends up getting taken out from behind. So now pressure left on Calhoun here. Spotting one inside of fire, and might have spotted someone going inside of 10. Based off his ADS, it's only prone to believe that he probably spotted someone, but gets dropped just outside of fire. As round by round by round, these things are getting done by fast. These things are going by quick. And keep in mind, the duelist P08s coming through from noobs. I want to say that he actually is normally the sniper player for this team. That's usually what a typical sniper from time to time likes to use. I know the duelist is kind of a big thing going around the Call of Duty community, debating on whether or not it should be banned and whatnot. But I say, honestly, until it's kind of brought up, until it's banned, it's fair game. It's in the game. Might as well try to use it, unless gentlemen's agreements, of course, are violated. They can be kind of assessed by that point. But looks like off the break here, maybe some positives. A little bit of a break potentially for the guys on NoTuck, as they have a full 4-man rush going toward B. Kind of a full team rush, rather, player number 6, except for Calhoun is watching the flank currently. But off the start, late rotation made from BeanSquad. Reassess the situation, make their way back toward B. Skilliosis finding a kill. JBinkss literally has no idea that he's here. You can see how surprised he was. He's like, how did he get behind enemy lines? How was no one watching this? So props to BeanSquad for getting in those very close personal situations as noobs. 20 points away from a glide bomb. Trying to reassess the situation, but ends up falling. Big kills being found right now from NoTuck, however, destroy. Last man alive here in round number 4. We'll see what he can try to pull off. So we notice that no one's on the B-bomb site. You're going to see him probably wait a little bit. He might try to make the rotation early, but he's definitely trying to go for a push. And this is definitely the preferred bomb site right now. If you're NoTuck, you're just trying to get a plant down, trying to get some streaks under your wing, trying to work for something. And this is definitely the preferred bomb site to be Havoc, but it looks like Destroy tries to make his way around the corner. So smart play coming in from NoTuck. They did have the advantage, essentially, though, of make it toward the B bomb site. I think for BeanSquad, they actually sent 3 here on water side. And had a little bit of an awkward rotation. Didn't really know exactly where the enemy was lingering at. Thankfully for them, though, NoTuck did have a little bit of a slower rotation into B. They knew the streaks were definitely going to be there. So Glide Bomb, I believe, gets used. And essentially, in kind of the overall scheme of things, does get wasted. Why? Because a round is not found from it. So another positive coming in from NoTuck as they essentially basically had to win that round. I think it's fair to say. Kind of overall, that momentum from BeanSquad probably would have earned streaks if a few more players would have found kills or a bomb would have been planted. Or defused, rather, but still looking on here. Saw lead in their wave, and Willie Calhoun ends up getting dropped from the side. Nice shot from Skilliosis. JBinkss knows he has to be here, but also falls as well. Skilliosis seeking out for the hat trick. Shiftola just trying to stay alive as he drops one onto GodPaaR. 1v1. Winner of this round, of course, is able to chalk another one up. That also gets the credit of the hat trick. Who will it be? And it will be Skilliosis. Some big kills found just outside a closet. And that was just a matter of where, once Willie Calhoun drops, Shiftola tries to go for the quick challenge. And I don't know. It's just a situation where you really need to kind of take out one player when he's kind of causing that much damage. Something's just not working out well. Whether it's the guys from BeanSquad who are just a lot hotter. Of course, we haven't really been able to watch all these kind of players' matches, so whose match kind of got done, you know, sooner obviously kind of play a little bit of a factor. But another offensive round where the guys on BeanSquad forgets, or excuse me, for NoTuck actually, forget to grab the bomb. So they're going to be a little bit delayed. GodPaaR off of that. Tries to make a quick rush and ends up paying for it. And Destroy, of course, the only player lingering on this A bomb site. Keep in mind, player number 1 up close, sitting inside a mid cut, just outside that bottom area. Now he's going to rush through Coal Room. After having 2 of his teammates drop, he has to find a kill in the situation. He can play spoils. And if you can find one, you're going to see all those red arrows start to turn around. Finds the kill onto JBinkss. Has his teammate Noobs on the other side of the map. How do they try and engage this? I believe it is Willie Calhoun sitting through mid-barrels. So only 2 players actually on the bomb site right now. A snipe miss coming in from Noobs. That is an unfortunate mishap. Smart play coming in from Calhoun to obviously sit through mid-barrels. Knows to kind of challenge it later. So sniper rifle in hand, a machine pistol in the back pocket here to try and retake the site. Willie Calhoun lingering through mid-map as he's not going to spot him, at least for now. But near snipe there for Noobs. Honestly, if you're Perfxrmal, you got to be counting your good graces that situation. Granted, does not live for much longer than that, but the duelist PO8s are not something that you really want to mess with in the situation. Calhoun will escape as the bomb does explode. So a second round here for NoTuck. Didn't come easy by any means, but I like the position that came in from Calhoun. Granted, did have a few teammates kind of lingering, but for the most part, smart position to be kind of sitting inside a mid-map. To kind of wrap around and wait for a challenge to occur, but it looks like off the break of this round, smoke gets tossed down, and now right now, if you are Shiftola and go from NoTuck, you're thinking, hey, potentially that could be a bait, as I believe this is actually the M1 Garand being brought down here from Shiftola, the rookie variant on it, as the streaks start to rain through here from the guys on BeanSquad. Shiftola ends up dropping Skilliosis with that M1 Garand. Now 2v3 bomb has been planted. Just Destroy probably has known, probably due to communication, that someone has got to be sitting inside a fire and having to rely on his teammate GodPaaR to stay alive. This is a big situation. How will each of them start to win their 1v1 engagements? It looks like none of them will be able to stay alive here. So Shiftola continuing to walk out the M1 Garand. He's going to stay up in this round, and he's actually going to give the defuse over toward Calhoun. Of course, closer to streak, so it definitely makes sense in the long run of things, but still. A third round found is NoTuck not going down without a fight. I mean, early on, it was looking pretty grim. I think it was 3 rounds in a row for BeanSquad that they found. And slowly but surely, NoTuck starting to kind of corral things, starting to kind of get their head on straight. And we'll see if they can actually grab the bomb off the start. That's one thing that they've been kind of struggling with, is just not grabbing bomb off the break. I'm not sure if they just don't have a primary objective player, or what really is the case here. But what's really been kind of causing a major problem for NoTuck has been that kind of side closet area. Played by the PPSH, the FG players like JBinkss haven't been able to win that fight quite a bit of the time. It's been causing them quite a few issues. So we'll see how they try to rebound from it. You see Shiftola having a nice kind of line sight here through mid-cut. He's getting a lot of information from this as he's kind of spotting out players, realizing where their kind of position overall is. He's being able to clear at the bomb site. But despite these players beginning to rush forward, 2 found for Shiftola. Skilliosis lingering through mid-map. Will he be greeted with some M1 Garand shots? But oh, a big headshot coming in as we're now finding ourselves in a 2v2 offense. Trying to make their way toward B as it will be Perfxrmal who ends up falling. And just like that, Willie Calhoun in a 1v2 takes that one through mid-statue. But I think in that scenario, I'm not sure where the objective man's going. Like, his teammates are totally clearing out the site, and he's nowhere to be found. He's making his way through back cold room. I don't know. I'm just... Maybe there was a strategy there that I just wasn't picking up on. I'm not exactly sure, but it was just kind of odd that his teammates are totally clearing out the B-bomb site. I mean, as his teammate comes through mid-map, I mean, they have full control that, hey, these guys are in the back lines. There's no way they can kind of force anything unless someone's on the flank. Maybe the objective guy just felt the pressure that could be coming at any moment from behind and just didn't want to go for the plant. But regardless, it just interesting play coming in. It definitely starts to kind of ruin them. And now a 5-3 advantage for BeanSquad. Skilliosis finding his third first blood of the game. 10-4 right now. The fighter pilot actually ends up taking out his own teammate, Noobs. Shuts down GodPaaR in that situation. And along with that, JBinkss combining for 2. And just like that, Shiftola picks off Skilliosis from behind here. So M1 Garand definitely doing the damage that it needs to. It's now 5 rounds to 4. By no means are NoTuck out of this, but with the fighter pilot rocked, I'm not sure if it was just poor streak usage coming in for BeanSquad, if they thought they had the round won, but overall a collapse that comes in from the guys on NoTuck, and they make it look pretty easy. So loading in here for round number 10. Looking on here with, it looks like Skilliosis and co from the side of Bean. It looks like they're forcing, looks like a 2-2 split toward either bomb site. You see player number 3, player number 2 trying to back up. However, Noobs and GodPaaR both finding kills. And now Objective is dropped in a pretty awkward scenario. Willie Calhoun, all by his lonesome, 1v3. Has to try and stay alive, but isn't able to do it. NoTuck, granted they were winning rounds from time to time, but overall it was that early 3-0 lead that really ruined them. It kind of started them off on a pretty awkward foot, kind of a bad taste in their mouth, to say the least, is kind of how this match started off. But props to BeanSquad. I think Skilliosis ends up finishing with double digits, around the 11 kill margin. I want to say, if not higher, as of course we're able to witness the final scorecard. Yeah, so Skilliosis, along with Destroy, both finish off with 10 kills apiece, which is definitely something to note. Along with, of course, in the end for the guys on NoTuck, I believe Shiftola finishes off 7 and 8. This is what I was kind of discussing as we get to witness our kind of round count scoreboard here. What's the side of BeanSquad? I mean, they came out, they were up 4 rounds to 1. Of course, a 3 kind of round victory, and kind of toward the late game, round 4, round 5, round 6, around that kind of time, we started to see NoTuck play a little bit better. Whether they were winning rounds or not, they started to kind of be able to compete at the least, excuse me. And like I said, it was just the kind of early advantage that the guys from BeanSquad had. I mean, once NoTuck was able to respond and started to get some kind of confidence into themselves, making correct rotations toward different sites, finally getting the objective down, checking correct corners and kind of rotating, getting kind of overall map control, it was kind of too late because they kind of had to play even better rather than just kind of even with the guys on BeanSquad, and they obviously kind of ruined them for it. But Skilliosis, all these guys from BeanSquad were doing a fantastic job at finding those first bloods. Nades were on point as well. And like I said, from NoTuck, they had some good moments from time to time. This kind of awkward objective play at the beginning where no one was grabbing the bomb. It just seemed like maybe the communication wasn't really there. I don't know. Just kind of a slower start. We'll see how obviously map number 2 will play out between both of these teams as desperately wanting to kind of progress themselves in tonight's tournament, trying to make their way to round 5, aka quarterfinals. But map number 2, though, of this best of 3 series will be on Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. So going to be interested to see how that one plays out. I think when it comes to welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the continued coverage here for the UMG Prime $2,000 4v4 Search and Destroy. Of course, myself, Lando, guiding you guys through our current round 4 matchup between BeanSquad and NoTuck. It was the guys from BeanSquad who took map number 1 on London Docks in the 10th round. Of course, 6-4 in total. And now trying to continue that momentum here towards some Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. As off the break, Willie Calhoun finding 2 off the start. It's a great way to kind of start a game, especially when your team is on the offense. Of course, a typical push toward the B-bomb side is what we're going to be seeing quite a bit of the time, unless someone wants to kind of shake things up and try and do exactly that. Skilliosis coming from the flank, he was the guy that I said to definitely be looking out for. But in a 1v4 situation like that, probably not going to spot out too much. But generally a great start coming in from Willie Calhoun, as he obviously, I mean, once you find 2 kills in a round, especially in the beginning of it, it is very difficult to try and commit a 2v4. Honestly, probably when you're on defense as well, it's probably even more difficult, just because you have the ability to not even really know once the objective is kind of getting down and really kind of what do we do once it's kind of planted. Just overall very awkward engagement to try and find, as him and Shiftola were able to kind of find all 4 amongst themselves. But a quick push toward the B-bomb site is what the guys from BeanSquad were attempting. They get greeted with some FG42 shots at the door and quickly back up, trying to make their way inside of red. GodPaaR doesn't watch his flank. It ends up paying for it. JBinkss, he's got the duelist out. He's feeling incredibly confident. Not normally going to see a sniper player have that much confidence in that close of a range. But in back-to-back situations where Skilliosis is in a position to clutch, this time, though, a little bit easier. Not a 1v4 this time. Very scary man there, JBinkss. Duelist. And he is just going to rip him off of that head glitch, essentially. I need to watch this again. Okay. Double headshots. Double headshots with the PO8s. Get this out of here. No, I'm kidding. That's absurd. Like the the amount of, like, I don't want to say luck, but just the general like melt of that particular gunfight is just absolutely absurd. Double headshots with the PO8s. Wow. That's interesting. I'll tell you that. It really is. JBinkss counting his good graces. Skilliosis off the start. Playing very well, despite his team not even finding a round yet. He's double positive, so despite that, he's doing what he needs to. Usually he's the guy to not really get these early engagements just because of his prior history in these rounds, kind of having an FG42 and a 1v3 or 1v4 engagement is how the prior 2 rounds have suggested themselves. But good communication coming in from Calhoun and co. As they are able to take out a few players. However, though, just to start to say that 1v3 situation here for Willie, as he needs to pull off something pretty grand. As finding some decent position, takes out Skilliosis, has a player above him, and it looks like Noob's inside archway. He's not even going to be here, however, though, not going to be needed to find the final player in the situation. Destroy will get things done with the FG42. And seeing back-to-back kill cams kind of being involved around this top restaurant, bottom restaurant area. To me, when this kind of map initially started, I was really discussing and saying how important kind of restaurant control is. And I still echo those same sentiments today, just because having that top restaurant control is just so important, especially for defense. Because if you're trying to make your way toward the A-bomb site, I mean, if you're not really sending anyone there off the initial break, I mean, you have really no chance of being able to kind of stop that push normally if the other team either has like someone kind of watching over or whatever really the case is. But it looks like player number 7, Skilliosis, very late to kind of join the game. Maybe tweeting out. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe texting. I'm not sure. Not exactly up to date with things. But either way, though, comes into the match and has his teammate Destroy take down Shiftola. They don't even need Skilliosis in this round. He can text all he wants from the spawn. However, JBinkss starting to get involved, takes down 1, nearly gets some shots in the second. Bomb, at least for them, isn't able to get planted. So if you're NoTuck, you're pretty happy about that when it kind of comes down to the overall scheme of things. But Noobs, PO8s, the duelist, getting rocked. And I think generally, I mean, right now for, you know, Kar 98K players or just snipers in general, I mean, you're pretty set when it comes down to this class now with the duelist, right? Because, of course, do you really want to walk hunker? I mean, you obviously can, but most of the time when you're with a sniper rifle, you don't really have to worry about getting naded because you're not really in a pre-nade situation a lot of the time. Granted, there are spots, but on different maps, usually you've got some pretty decent cover. And along with that, I mean, you can use Inconspicuous. I mean, like I said, there are options. I mean, Scoped. I mean, there are a few different combat trainings you can use, but why not kind of bring yourself back into the fight? Why not be, you know, confident in up close and personal situations? I mean, even having players on head glitches with the Duelist rocked. PO8's very, very solid, but it looks like off the start, though, JBinkss spoils the party for the time. However, though, has a few more players in his line sight as he will get dropped inside of top red. As the kill cams continue to go down here inside a restaurant. Noobs is sitting at the table and finding the third round here. As right now, if you're BeanSquad, you're feeling pretty confident, right? Because they took map number 1, obviously on London Docks in a 6-4 fashion. This game's starting off a lot closer, to say the least, as it was a kind of 3-0 beginning for BeanSquad. They were feeling confident. I think 4 players, or excuse me, 3 out of the 4 players had started off nearly with streaks. Kind of all of them flawless, not really dropping too many guys, so gotta be feeling good. But it looks like off the break, though, Noobs finding the first blood as he's now on a 4 spree. Along with sprees, we got to talk about streaks that come along with those. Destroy with the glide bomb should be able to take out Perfxrmal and does exactly that. So trying to bring themselves back into this game, or at least back into this round, rather. As the initials come forward, GodPaaR takes down 1. This nade could be good. It is good. Unfortunately, not enough to take down a player with that Hunker combat training on. And the Noobs is able to spot him, as you're going to see yet again more duelist classes. Making it look easy there. And like I said, when you have a machine pistol, I mean, generally, the machine pistol is a solid weapon. I mean, I'll give it that. But it can be a little bit sporadic with the ADS. I mean, sometimes your aim can kind of go off into the distance. It doesn't really have the highest magazine clip, even with the extended mag, which is basically the only attachment that most players like to use it on. But you're going to notice quite a few players rocking duelist, despite them even sometimes not having a sniper in their hands. But it's the go-to combat training. It's the go-to kind of class to be rocking with right now. You can't really hate on them for it. But it looks like off the start of this round, Destroy, 3rd first blood found for this man. His teammate has 5 in total, so he's got 3 out of the 5. JBinkss is able to even things up, and this is kind of a risky play coming in from him. I mean, he goes toward top red with the bomb. And normally when teams are on defense, they really kind of want to force the issue a lot inside the top red. So for him to kind of make his way through there, find a narrow kill, which is very, very risky, but it does work out. At the same time, Skilliosis and Destroy take down 2. Bomb getting retaken. It looks like someone should go for the defuse any time. Perfxrmal's position is known, and just like that, Skilliosis is going to let him know. The duelist in full force tonight, as Noobs will go for the defuse. Skilliosis is not holding back. And right now, if you're NoTuck, I mean, you're just kind of heading for cover in this next round. I mean, they've got everything really kind of heading into this round number 8. I mean, like I said, they've got glide bombs. They've got fighter pilots galore. Despite GodPaaR currently going 1-6. You've got Skilliosis 7-4, Noobs 5-2, and better known Destroy, who is quite literally living up to his name, 11-3. And funny enough, he's the guy who doesn't even have streaks at this point, but does find the first blood. Potentially dropping JBinkss shortly here as well. Actually tosses out the nade and has to be very, very careful of his position. Noobs and GodPaaR left to try and clutch things out. GodPaaR finds his 2nd kill of the game. But to no avail, ends up getting taken down pretty quickly. This position is not out of the question here for Noobs, though. He's got a PPSH grenade. Both players are coming from the same direction, so he's probably getting tagged in the side, but goes for the initial challenge and isn't able to win it. I think he was going for the mantle dive in that situation. Makes you go a little bit farther. And probably thought that there was one player here, so maybe trying to catch him off guard or maybe just accidentally mantled. Definitely possible, but despite that, though, NoTuck hanging in there, 3-5 currently. As it seems at different moments. I mean, when it came down to map 1, it was BeanSquad who had the great start. In this situation, kind of the mid-game for BeanSquad has been very, very strong. So just kind of succeeding at different moments, kind of catching that momentum. And like I said, if you got a guy like Destroy, who's literally troll positive, he's got 4 out of your 6 first bloods. I mean, he is just a tank right now here on Sainte-Marie. But it is one to drop him, and it looks like the Garand is out. I mean, a lot of the time when we talk about the M1 Garand, especially Duelist right now, I mean, these are mostly gentleman agreements that are things that are kind of discussed. I know a lot of players kind of brought up now in the discussion, should Duelist be in the discussion as far as, you know, the gentlemen's agreements and whatnot. But these guys, they're rocking everything. They have no issue with kind of pulling out these classes as GodPaaR nearly goes for the 360, the near career ender. But thankfully Noobs is there, and it's really going to take about, what, one PO8 bullet, give or take? Yeah, about a shot and a half from the PO8s coming in from Noobs as this one will be done on Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. 6 rounds to 3, along with an in total 2-0 scoreline in this series from the guys on BeanSquad, as we'll be waving goodbye toward Willie Calhoun and co. from the set of NoTuck. Of course, played fairly well throughout this match. We kind of look at the scorecard here. Only a few players to mention, at least from the NoTuck side. Only 2 guys kind of staying in the lobby. But both of them finish off with 7 kills apiece, kind of going even throughout this match. But on the opposite end, though, we got to talk about this man Destroy. I mean, literally played so well throughout this match. Finishes off 12-5 here on map number 2, along with the fact of him like finding, what was it, like I said, like 4 or 5 first bloods in this match. I want to say it was 4 first bloods. I mean, that was definitely kind of a major key for them. But this is what I want to discuss, right? From map 1 to map 2, I was discussing and saying the difference between kind of this overall matchup was the level of where Bean was able to kind of get on this spree, right? In map number 1, it was a matter of them kind of winning the first 3 rounds, kind of catching momentum. And granted, like we said, the guys from NoTuck started to play a little better. They started to compete. But since they had that kind of momentum off the start, it was the guys from NoTuck who just weren't able to kind of take it to that next level to really kind of arise to the occasion and really kind of finish them off. We look at here, at this scorecard from map number 2. First 2 rounds took from NoTuck. I'm saying, okay, they're probably back in this one. They're feeling confident. Those first 2 rounds have got to be a big momentum boost. And then bam, like what? Like 5 rounds literally in a row, one after another, that the, of course, group from BeanSquad started to take. Their mid-game was fantastic throughout this match, and only dropping round number 8 to just kind of finish things off in round 9. They have plenty of streaks to rock. Destroy had a game that he probably is not going to remember for, or it will remember for a long time. I could say he probably won't remember it if the matches keep going on and maybe he has more strong performances, but still, a solid performance coming in from the guys on BeanSquad, which is to be expected, I think it's fair to say. When we bring up names like Noobs, GodPaaR, Destroy, Skilliosis, I know I've been kind of prone to watching these guys a lot more heading into World War II. I've heard of GodPaaR, kind of in the past, and especially in a few of our tournaments. Got to watch Skilliosis play last night under the group name of Big Beams, where he ended up taking down Blast Radius, which is a Havoc's team, who's currently 2nd in the national circuit for the U.S. I believe those matches are actually going on right now, but still, ended up taking down Blast Radius in a variant tournament last night in the finals, 2-0, where they pretty much dominated them. So, I mean, I'm not sure if that was like a full-on squad or what really was the case there with Skilliosis and co. But they played very well. He was a major factor, and not just the search and destroys, but in the respawns throughout not just the finals, but the kind of rounds prior to that too. I'm still, but I can't stop. Can't see a night. What if I fall? Without a night, where do I fall?